All right, let's get right into it. There's one topic, one person, that comedy just can't seem to quit. Donald Trump. Love him, hate him, you can't deny he's everywhere. Late-night monologues, stand-up specials, you name it. But all that attention brings up a really fascinating question.
And this is the core of it, right? It's a huge paradox. We're talking about a man who lives and breathes the spotlight, arguably the most famous person on the planet. So why, after all this time, can't he seem to handle being the punchline? We dug in to figure out what's really going on here.
Impressionist Matt Friend, a guy who knows a thing or two about this, kind of puts it perfectly. He says Trump is the main character of the world right now. And look, when you're the planet's main character, you're gonna be in every monologue. It's just part of the deal. So you'd think he'd be totally used to the jokes by now, right?
Well, not exactly. It seems like being the main character and actually being able to laugh at yourself might be two completely different things for Trump. And that, right there, is the central puzzle we're trying to solve.
It's almost like there are two Trumps. On one hand, you've got people like Bill Maher and even Seth MacFarlane who say that in private, the guy can be hilarious. MacFarlane even said he was great at his own Comedy Central roast way back when. But then you get public Trump, and that's a whole different story. A guy who attacks his critics and absolutely cannot stand being the butt of the joke.
In fact, Seth MacFarlane pointed to what he called a weird shift over the years. He says the person who could take a roast back then is, well, he's different now. And to really get what he means by that shift, there is no better example than Trump's feud with a certain late-night host.
Which brings us to the Colbert clash. So when a completely false rumor started circulating that The Late Show was ending, Trump didn't just ignore it. Oh no, he went on the offensive. He went straight to Truth Social and posted this. I absolutely love that Colbert got fired. A direct, public celebration of a critic supposedly getting the boot. But he was just getting warmed up. He kept the victory lap going, even expanding it to pull in other comedians. He wrote, I hear Jimmy Kimmel is next, has even less talent than Colbert. You see the pattern? It's not enough to just react, he has to counterattack.
And his justification for all this gloating? In a follow-up post, he claimed Colbert just became a victim to himself, which is a pretty convenient way to spin it, and one that neatly avoids what was really going on behind the scenes.
So what was the real story? Well, just 3 days before that rumor started and Trump went on his posting spree, Colbert had criticized a settlement between Trump and Paramount Global, that's the parent company of CBS. At that very same time, Paramount had an $8.4 billion merger that needed approval from, you guessed it, the Trump administration. The timing is, let's just say it's very, very interesting.
Okay, so that's the public reaction. But what do the actual comedians who impersonate him for a living think about all this? How do they see his behavior? Well, it turns out for them, it's not a problem. It's a comedic gold mine.
Comedian Matt Friend basically breaks down their playbook. He says it comes down to three things. First, the absurdity of it all. Trump says stuff that's so wild, the material literally writes itself. Second, he acts as a shield. Friend can say the most outrageous things in his Trump voice and then just shrug and go, hey, I didn't say it, Trump did. And finally, it all just adds up to a comedic goldmine for the culture.
But even for the comedians who are cashing in, there's still a piece of this puzzle that just doesn't fit. Friend himself admits he's kind of baffled by it. He says, it's crazy that he still cares because he doesn't have to run again. He has nothing left to prove. The mystery just keeps getting deeper.
And that brings us to the final thought, one that's way bigger than just one person or one presidency. When power gets this sensitive, when it completely loses its ability to laugh at itself, who really truly gets the last laugh in the end?
So what do you think? Who gets the last laugh? Is this all some kind of political strategy, or is it just pure ego? Drop your theory in the comments below. I'd love to see what you think. And hey, if this breakdown got you thinking, do me a favor, smash that like button, and be sure to subscribe for more explainers just like this one. Thanks for watching.